Hey guys, this is Mr. Breen, and in this video I'll be talking about the Greek middle voice forms. So to begin with, here's what they look like. I just used the verb luo, meaning to break or to loosen, and I formed these verbs, so we'll kind of see how they're formed in a second, but for now, the forms are luomai, lue, luetai, luometha, luesta, luontai, luestai for the infinitive, and then the imperatives are luu and luesta. So the parts of this verb look like this. We have the stem, lu, and then we have our theme vowels, omicron, epsilon, epsilon, omicron, epsilon, omicron, epsilon, epsilon, epsilon. And then our endings, which you should memorize, are mai, sai, tai, meta, sta, ntai, stai for infinitive, and then sa and sta for second singular and second plural imperative. So for our first singular, we don't need to change this at all. It just kind of comes fully into the form. But for the second singular, lu-si, we have some contraction. The sigma drops out, and then epsilon plus alpha iota contracts down to lu-a. Luetai, nothing changes. Luometha and luesta, nothing changes. And the same is true for luontai. So really, the only place where there's any contraction is that second singular. And lue, the final form, looks a lot different than luesi, which is sort of what it starts out as. But you really need to memorize this psi because you will see this ending in other places. In other words, you can't just try to memorize lue and ignore that it comes from this. For the infinitive, nothing really changes. Luestai, it's just luestai. But for second singular, we have the sigma dropping out between two vowels, intervocalic sigma. It drops out, and then epsilon plus omicron gives you omicron upsilon. So luesa becomes luu. And then for the second plural, it's just luesta. So here are a couple more examples in Greek. On the left, there is an alpha contract verb, and on the right, we have an epsilon contract verb. And you can see that alpha and the epsilon are going to affect how these contractions happen. You can go back, and I would encourage you to look at that on your own. In fact, you really should to understand how these contracts work. But here are the forms sort of in their final state, and they are timomai, tima, timatai, timometha, timasta, timontai, timastai, timo, and timasta. And then the forms over on the right are philumai, phile, philutai, philumetha, philesta, philuntai, philestai for the infinitive, philu, and philesta. So get a little bit of practice here. I've given you the first principal part of these verbs, horao, poieo, and pauo. And what I want you to do is to take these 6 forms and I want you to change them from active to middle voice. Go ahead and pause the video. I'll give you a few seconds before I put the answers on the screen.